Hey chat, the rich guy in this fancy apartment is a total creep who gropes college girls. The second I stepped out of the elevator, my neighbor Yvonne Shaw had me cornered at my front door. She pulled at her collar, crying into her phone camera. Chat, this is where he lives. He just covered my mouth in the elevator and put his hands all over me. If the doors hadn't opened when they did, he would have dragged me back to his place. The comments went nuts. The screen was a wall of people cursing out my husband. But later, in court, when they saw my husband, the man who lost both arms saving someone in a fire 5 years ago, every single one of them went dead silent. The day I moved into Riverfront Residences, I became the most hated person in the building. It all started with my neighbor, an influencer who went by Sexy Innocent Yvonne with over 1 million TikTok followers. Right now she was standing outside my door with a phone on a tripod, sobbing her heart out for the camera. Chat, I can't do this anymore. I thought everyone here was decent, but there's a total animal in this building. She tugged at her already low collar, showing off skin and nasty red marks on her neck. She pointed at my door and yelled, "The guy in this apartment looks normal, but half an hour ago he assaulted me in the elevator. He knew there was no signal in there, so he pinned me against the wall, clamped one hand over my mouth, and tried to rip my dress off with the other. If the doors hadn't opened right then, I would've. She broke down, squatted on the ground and started bawling. Her viewer count shot past 100,000. What the hell? In broad daylight? Rich people are the worst. They think money means they can do anything. Call the cops. Lock that pervert up. His wife's trash too, hiding inside like a coward." Then Yvonne's mom, Jenny Shaw, showed up. She could outact her daughter any day. She banged on my door screaming into a megaphone, "Open up. You got the guts to do it, but not the guts to face us? Everybody look. This creep in 2801 went after my 20-year-old daughter. What kind of sicko does that? You don't come out, I'll kill myself right here at your door." The noise was splitting my head open. I put down the warm towel I'd been holding and looked over at my husband, Chris Gomez, lying on his therapy bed hooked up to a breathing machine. He couldn't talk, but his eyes were full of worry. He'd heard everything and was struggling to turn his head. I patted his shoulder gently. "Hey, it's nothing. Just some yapping. I'll handle it." Chris trembled. It broke my heart. 5 years ago, during that mall fire that made national news, he went into the building 3 times as the fire captain. The last time, he ran back in to save a trapped little girl. A beam collapsed on him, destroyed his face, and took both his arms. For the past 5 years, we'd been living quietly on his settlement money and some investments I'd made. I moved us into this big riverside apartment so he could recover in a better environment. Never thought we'd get set up like this on day one. Assault, pinned against the wall, hands all over her. I smirked. My eyes went cold. "You want to make a scene? Fine, but you better be ready for what comes next." I walked over and threw the door open. The crying stopped dead. Yvonne froze, then shoved the camera in my face. "Chat, look, the creep's wife finally shows herself." Jenny got right up in my face. "Shameless woman, get your pervert husband out here. You're not off the hook until you pay us $1 million for emotional damage." Yvonne sobbed. "Girl, you're a woman too. How can you stand by him? Look at the marks on my neck. His fingers left those." She tilted her neck for a close-up. The red marks were clearly visible. "This is evidence. There's no denying it." Neighbors watched, whispering, giving us dirty looks. I looked at Yvonne's greedy face. I didn't panic. I laughed. "Evidence? Finger marks?" I crossed my arms. "Your name's Yvonne, right? You're saying my husband choked you and ripped your clothes with his hands?" She straightened up, totally confident. "That's right. His hands were crazy strong, covered in calluses. It hurt so bad. I'll never forget those hands." "Good," I nodded, eyes ice cold. "Hope you remember what they looked like